we are alive and we are not in person anymore. Wow, I think you came back to Rome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Judging for the fact that we have no sun, you have the sun. Yeah, you're not exactly in London now.
No.
How is it coming back to Rome?
It was good. Yeah, to see my family again, my friends, and yeah.
Oh.
When I left Rome, I was just a different person. Now, for grow and in music,
And we can say the little news?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, well, we were so badly together in the flat that we decided that we are looking for next flat together.
Yes.
So we will see if we will do that, or for organization problems that it will not be. But this is a little thing when you see the series, and when you will see the series, you will see her as I treated her as a very experienced professional. Why? Because of course she is. So she didn't require me to be that soft, not to get exactly to the point. So we just went directly to the point, as I do with professionals. Of course I don't do that with no professionals because it will be useless. Her, simply, she doesn't want to lose too much time to obtain some kind of things. It's just that. So she prefers to be really, really stuck in something that she's not able to do, and it's a great point of her voice and of her technique. And she prefers to remain there, also with 1 hour without arriving to have something, but to know that we are working to making something possible in our structure. She prefers that to remain stuck without, but really gently for the other 2 years. That's why she trusted once on one side. At the other side, she knew that she had something inside pushing herself creatively, and she wanted to give voice to that. So to me now, it is, what is she going to choose? Is she going to be more pushed? Is she going to choose what she did before, but in another way? It's her freedom, totally. And no, we'll never say nothing about. I said something about, she knows. Because one day I had the idea that she was composing with a little more, a different kind of energy.
Yeah.
And she told me, are you a witch or what? I said, a bit, perhaps. Was it true?
I was literally on my piano and singing and writing, and you text me. Like,
yes, I know.
Okay.
We're a bit connected as musicians are. It's like that. No, and I texted her, I think that you have this kind of energy. If it's true, write down. And she sent to me the photo. It was, you're a witch or what?
Yeah.
So how is it? Really, you were singing. Do you have the idea that really changed something, or did you simply precise more what you are?
Both. I mean, I'm feeling more precise when I write, and when I sing what I feel inside. I don't know how to explain it, but now I'm feeling that I have energy to write something more rhythmic. Yeah. And so, yeah, I don't know, but something is changed.
That is fun, because it's exactly what I always say.
Yeah.
I work just on the structure, just how the car is put together. You have, and it's there that you're stuck, of course. You're never creatively stuck. It's another thing. And immediately when you did the live, was yet there, you just have some creative part of you that wanted to really exist, that drive you in places different. You say, oh really, wow, so that was, it changes the point of view. But in some sort you become yourself a little more. That's why I can push.
Yeah.
Because I know perfectly that after there is a greater freedom and a greater capacity of really, really, really shaping what is good in you.
Yeah, I feel more free to do, and I'm not afraid to do it. But I just do it and I'll do.
But is it free from judgment, or is it free from ideas that preconceived on you?
From judgment, and I don't know. When I used to write, I always, or sing, I always judge myself because I don't know. Maybe I don't like what I was singing, or I felt myself not precisely, or I don't know. But now when I hear myself, when I record myself, I feel that since it's not perfect or whatever, it's what I want, and I have just to work on that. It's merely what I want.
Yeah, this is something that sometimes in vocal technique we do. We tend to take away things just because they don't fit in the precise form that we want.
Yeah.
And we don't tolerate the pattern to knowing that we will get very precise without the need to take it away. We can take away a little just to precise a little more a form, but it doesn't have to become a habit. In you it had become a little a habit.
Yeah.
But it was a habit also in the fact that you are really a great musician. And you know that I pushed you so much because I have so much respect and esteem for what you can do and what you are. And how can I say? I know that musician will not take as a not refined thing as the end. I know that your judgment is if it is too much in the first parts will not bring you where you can be with the same kind of judgment.
Yeah.
Because I know that you will precise things and you will use that to get more precise even in more things in voice and in composition and in songwriting.
Yeah.
Not to remain precise.
Yeah.
This sometimes is a misunderstanding. With some, they think that they have the right not to get to precision. No, they have the right to put some things more that are interesting for the public, that are interesting for music, and then to work to precise them all the time.
Yeah, and I realized that I was trying so hard to be precise, but I never been precise really. I just stuck and okay, I have to be precise, and it was like prison.
That's why I always tell you about George Michael and Robbie Williams and all those for which you can see how they started and how they evolved. Yeah. Just we do that by studying. And at the same time, why do you think that I created a little of stress so that you were really stuck? And I asked you not to avoid this stress first. Second, to make the correct choice during the stress. Why? Why do you think I did that? Because I did with you many times that.
Yeah.
Have you understood that it was on purpose?
Yeah, I know.
Why do you think I did that?
Maybe because I wasn't able to choose.
This is normal, so it's normal. So we could do that in many other times and not with that little pressure I put. No, because when you perform, do you have some stress? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
A little more than what I created.
Yeah.
So the question was to learn and to train to make the correct choice, or to make the correct pattern that will bring you to the correct choice under stress. When the stress is enough that you are not that free. And since you have a lot of experience, I wanted to be sure and to make you able, when you study, to create that little moment in which you are really choosing, because it's quite close to the conditions in which you are while you're on stage. Because there it's very easy to take another choice, and then the experience will be really bad.
Yeah.
Or not on the pattern that you are choosing. Also the thing when, and I thought that it had really worked, because when we made the last live in which I said nothing, I intended nothing, I even know to warm up her voice. She did how she usually does, exactly as for the first, and she decided by herself to stream that live on her Instagram. So she decided not to remain in the comfort zone. That was a little weakness of her. Because you are such a good musician that even in your comfort zone you're interesting. But out of a comfort zone that you didn't decide so strictly, but a little bigger and a little huger, and the diaphragm render possible to do that without straining not only the vocal cords but ourselves with the stress. This is another reason why we put the diaphragm really connected, because it helps a lot on stage to remain into a great stress, and also to give ourselves into a deeper, a freer way of music, and without straining for stress, for emotional stress. In that, the diaphragm gives us the strength to do that.
Yeah.
And she put on herself this stress, not feeling that it was a too much stress, but it was a choice. That's why I remained with you with that kind of stress and asking you, because I knew perfectly that sometimes it was a question of choice inside, and you could find it, and you find it, and you find it.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it will evolve. So so for the moment, if what I perceive is correct, you have two tendencies. One is to come back completely, and the other one is no, come on, let me see what is new there and what can be.
I cannot wait to come back in London. Really, because I feel that now I belong to London. So.
And you feel also that you can give something to London, and London can give a lot to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And
then London has a nice vibe.
Yeah.
Also Rome has a nice vibe, but it's quite different.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
It's a little like a home for holidays, but not home for work.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
If you, well, since we made this little thing, I will ask you again, is it really a new way of working on diaphragm that we did together? Or something that you have yet seen before?
No, it's something, for me it was something new. Yes, and so at the beginning it was very difficult to connect with my diaphragm, but when I understand that was something that will be free of myself, I was okay, I'm gonna work. It will be hard, but now I'm realizing that, like, how I was able to sing without this. I mean, really, I was like all these years singing without my diaphragm, and
yeah, I know.
yes, but before I didn't know it. So I trust you, and yeah.
I know it was hard. I know it was hard, because there is always a little part harder, but it's physiological that is hard.
Yeah, but I think that all the great things have to be hard at the end.
And you told me something before leaving. She told me something really nice, that it was in the line of what I'm doing. What I'm doing is not, of course there will be perhaps a marketing side, okay, but at the same time the most important to me is that, as you said, that's why I make everything live, is that we don't have to fear to show that can be hard. We don't have to fear to show that there are some things that absolutely 3 principles are those, and we are related to those. Why? Because they are really, really something that we really understood that are useful. So on those things we don't discuss a lot. We discuss on everything else. We don't discuss the fact that diaphragm connection, really, it's useful, that copertura, it's absolutely necessary, because we are talking about someone who wants really to have a career in music and have a career with their voice. So we don't have to say things not correct about that, because there will be some illusions, there will be very great delusions also. It will be really delusional when you understand that it wasn't exactly like that. It was easier to study, it was easier for you, or it was less challenging or less demanding of yourself. But at the end it doesn't pay as everything. But at the same time, just to show that 3 or 4 things are always the same, and it's so easy to find them. We just have the desire to find them. Not everybody has this necessity. If you have this necessity, it's fantastic. If you don't, you can live very happily without. But when you see some, I don't want to say some shows, but in Italy, yes, you see some TV shows, and it's like if they were frightened to say that there is a first step and a second step. The first step is the one, as for copertura and with everything I'm showing you, is the one in which you are not rewarded by your sound. But me, I'm very rewarded because I have this knowledge and those skills. And when you get a little deeper into this study and you become a teacher, eventually you are very happy of the first step of your students. Sometimes it's not that rewarding because it's the second step that is rewarding. And it is just to say, okay, don't be frightened by the first step. It's just the first step. And eventually, it's very soon there is the second one. And that's why I invented cossumethod, not to remain into the first step. For her, the technique was remaining a bit into the first step. Why? Because sometimes structurally, for many reasons, we can easily get to the second step. Cossumethod is to get everybody to the second step, okay? That is the only new thing that I found. And it is the tough part. Why? Because it's the part in which you have structurally something that we don't know why, or sometimes we discover why. We do a little, we discovered that it was a little emotional thing. With some other students, who the one who was totally tone deaf, it was tone deaf. I always wrong with that pronunciation, sorry. And the one who was totally tone deaf, she had totally blocked a part of the diaphragm also for emotional stress when she was young. And she trusted that we could do that just basically by muscle. So it wasn't that stressful inside. But of course, if we want to change something in the structure, we have to overcome the resistance of not changing. That will be our lie when the system is very well structured, because we will have a resistance in changing again. We have to really choose to change again. But if we want really to change again, it's totally easy to do. And at the same time, correct technique is always the second step. We look to get to the second step. If there are or there are not problems structural. When you just improve a little your sound, you are all the time in the first step, even if it's well hidden. That's what I don't like in the way of representing voices by some TV shows. That it's perfect in the first step. We are not satisfied by that. And to get to the second, we have to look at what is really this first step.
Yeah.
But we are not. As in music, we love truth. We love when an interpreter gets there, gives us really something of him. With a little form if it's possible. Without if it doesn't, but we like that. And we try to bring a technique that brings there, simply. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was nice to see you back there. And I take a little of your son, if it's possible.
Yeah.
Come here. Thank you. Yeah, I can end it always. Always this problem with me.